And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Hello, RBLR Nation, and welcome to this week's episode of the Bucs edition of RBLR. I've got some two wonderful co-hosts with me. Santiago, the usual. What's up, Santiago? How you doing?
What's up, RBLR Nation? What's up, Carter? What's up, Zach? How's everyone doing? We got a win, man. After two tough losses, we got a win, and we're ready to break that down. Let's do this. Let's go, Bucs, baby. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's always good to be doing a show after a W. And stepping in for our boy Musab, he was unfortunately having to take care of some family members, and we're sending our well wishes to him, and hope he gets back safely. But stepping in, pinch hitting, so to speak, although this is a football podcast. But coming in is Zach Lane. Say what's up to the people for it, Zach.
Hey, what's going on, guys? And like you said it perfect, man. You know, sending good vibes to Musab and make sure everything's good to go with him.
Absolutely. Well, on the good news, the Bucs did win this past week. They played the Atlanta Falcons. They beat them 21-15 Sunday afternoon at a 1:00 game. And let's get some initial thoughts going on. What's one good thing that y'all saw on the offensive side of the ball? Zach, we'll start with you. What's a really good thing you want to focus on the offensive side?
A good thing on the offensive side was obviously Leonard Fournette. I mean, he was doing a little bit of everything, which is something nice to see because, his days in Jacksonville and even the beginning days in Tampa, he wasn't really known as a pass-catching back. So to see him be able to do that was perfect for us.
Absolutely. That's a definite point. Lenny had himself a day overall. He had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown, so just really great work. Santiago, how about you? What was one good thing?
Yeah, gentlemen, I agree, man. I've been so high on Leonard Fournette, this offseason that, I couldn't stop talking about him. Like, I wanted to see Lenny be, playoff Lenny, regular season Lenny, and, for him to do, to score touchdowns. And I saw that celebration where that fan had that huge cutout of his face. It was like he was like picked it up and started celebrating. That was really cool, that fan interaction. So, it's awesome that our home fans can go home happy, and we're home. We were happy as well. We're all passionate about this team, and we just want to do the best, and just what we do is win. All we do is win. We want to do that and go win a championship. Let's go, baby.
For sure. I see the DJ Khaled reference. So kind of as a follow-up, since we were mentioning Leonard Fournette, do y'all feel like – we'll start with you, Zach, with this question. Do y'all feel like Leonard Fournette, he's been taking a lot of carries, a lot of touches, just a lot of reps. Do you think as the season progresses that the Bucs are going to kind of try to cut down on that since, they are a playoff team, they're playing for the playoffs? Do you think they're going to kind of reduce that workload? How are you feeling about it, Zach?
Realistically, that would be perfect for him to get a little bit of a rest and be healthy for the playoffs. But I'm not sure how confident I am in White being that go-to back on let's say a rest day or a slower day for Fournette. Once Gio Bernard comes back, then maybe I could see it more if he comes back healthy. But realistically, I think we see him probably play all season, barring any injuries.
Right, for sure. It'll be interesting to see. The Bucs have some kind of weaker opponents on their schedule at some points. The Seahawks, they're playing the Steelers this week. They get to play the Panthers a couple times. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe they reduce Leonard's workload in those games especially. But Santiago, how do you feel about it? You think they're going to kind of turn away at Leonard, get their money's worth, or you think they're going to try to tread on the tires?
Well, gentlemen, I honestly believe that Leonard Fournette, man, he's our star running back, man. We are, he's a special. He's been very special here in Tampa, and we love that. We love a big running back that can pound the football and get yardage and stuff. It kind of reminds me of an A-Train, Mike Allstott back in the day. You know what I mean? Like he can, when he goes, he can go. And it's. This past game, man, it's an example. He had 14 carries for 56 yards with a one touchdown. So, I mean, like, I would like to see Rashad White, a younger back, get in there, more. But, I don't know. I really don't think that, that this is he's going to slow down. So it's going to slow down for Lenny. You know what I mean? He's just that type of a back that we want him in there.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think?
For sure. I mean, it's definitely an ideal situation to have Leonard Fournette getting as many touches as possible with that running back room looking the way it does. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough as the season progresses, especially because of, like Zach mentioned, the lack of faith in the other backs in that room. So now we've kind of talked about the offensive side a little bit against Atlanta, but moving on to the defense, what's something that stood out, a good thing that stood out against the Falcons? They only allowed 15 points. I know it's the Falcons, Marcus Mariota. They were without Kyle Pitts and Cordero Patterson, so obviously it's an awful offense, but they still only allowed 15 points. NFL team, that's not something to scoff at. Zach, we were talking about it before the show started. What's one good thing you can focus on?
Well, one good thing is we had 5 sacks. I mean, like our rush is getting there, and that's what's amazing. And I mean, Tryon Shoyinka was a stud. He was in the backfield. It seemed like whenever he wanted to be. Winfield Jr. from a safety spot had 1 sack and another quarterback hit. So our rush looked very, very good. And you're right. Like, it is the Falcons, but we looked very good being able to hit the quarterback at almost whenever we wanted to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Santiago, how about you? What's one good thing defensively that you thought the Bucs did in the win?
I saw a post-game interview with Joe Tryon Shoyinka, and he said that he made a sack that was like the easiest sack he has ever done in his football career. So, that's definitely something positive that, he could be, he can get that type of a lane and sack Mariota. Also, Antoine Winfield, man, he was a stud too, 7 tackles, and, he was on fire out there this game. But, Tampa Bay, bro, we're known for our defense, man. So it's just that, defense wins championships. And I believe that, even though we have injuries right there, Carter and Zach, like, we have a good enough core of players that, can battle every single game. And that's what we definitely want to help us, get interceptions, get sacks, and try to create chaos and, maybe score defensive touchdowns and stuff, and stop the other teams from gaining yardage on us. So super, super happy and that we got the win, and let's go on to the next game. Let's go, baby.
For sure. Yeah. Speaking of the positives on the defensive end, I mean, the Bucs have been able to play. They've been lucky. They've gotten to play the Saints with, Jameis, and then they boys without Michael Gallup, and they got to play the Packers with God knows who at the wide receiver position. Then they get to play the Steelers. I mean, they have a really, really friendly schedule. So even though talent-wise it might not be the best defense in the NFL, do y'all think that there's a potential for the Bucs to have the best statistic defense, statistically speaking, in the NFL? Zach, what are you thinking?
If I'm being completely honest, and as a Tampa fan, it kind of hurts to say, realistically, I think that our run defense is going to have to step up if we want to be statistically in the top. We are in the top 10 for pass defense, but for run defense, I believe we're sitting right at 18th ranked. We're giving up about 114 yards a game. So if we want to be statistically one of the best, we're going to have to step up our run defense. But if we do that realistically, I think we can, then I think we have a shot at doing it.
Absolutely, which is such an interesting flip because for the past 3 or 4 years, the Bucs have been the best rush defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
They've been awful against the pass.
Yeah.
So it's just been such an interesting flip to see this season, kind of them going from, that run defense being elite and then the secondary struggling to stop, us running around. So, Santiago, how are you feeling about the defense? You think we're in a good place and we're on a good route?
I mean, gentlemen, it's overall, when you give up 41 points versus Kansas, versus Kansas City, and and lose like that, that's definitely gonna be harsh on the defense, of course, because we're playing an elite quarterback in Pat Mahomes. But obviously, since we just recently played Atlanta, which is, the worst team in our division, um, you know, to, to keep him in the game, because we were all thinking last week, that they were going to be kind of a blowout, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't that, so it has been a rough season, with injuries and stuff like that. So, Carter, to answer your question, we do have a little bit of issues with that, with run defense, of course. But, everybody has to literally, and they are trying, but, we have to do a better job in playing our, each person playing their part, and because we won't have to win games. Like these next few games that we got right now, the opponents are not that strong pretty much. So, I mean, at least, we are going to have some more difficult, games down the road, but, what do you think, man? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's but the good news is if you look at this NFC division, or the NFC conference, excuse me, it's really, the Chiefs and the Bills are the two best offenses in the NFL by far and away. They're ridiculous. I mean, just the things that they can do on the football field, no one can really match that. And while the Bucs are playing for the Super Bowl, to get there, the good news is, the Packers have Aaron Rodgers and they have a really excellent offense, but the Rams have looked awful offensively. Matthew Stafford looks like a shell of last year's version. He pretty much targets Cooper Kupp and that tight end Tyler Higbee every possession, and Allen Robinson and the rest of the wide receiving group is just kind of out there running suicides, getting some cards. So it's just kind of crazy. It's just
they're just out there wasting away is what's happening.
They're just getting get a little workout in. Good for them, I guess. But regardless, there's not too many explosive offenses. So kind of my ultimate point, I guess, was just that the Bucs just, defensively, they're going to have some really advantageous matchups. So I'm really excited to see that, especially just in the playoffs. But, I don't know. We'll just have to see. But one thing we won't have to see about is the RBLR shop. We got some dope stuff on there. Got to visit the link in the description. We got some fantastic threads on there for the Rays, the Bucs, the Lightning, the Rowdies, all four teams. So if you want to shop on over there, head on over there and get some new threads for the winter. We're not going to really get cold here in Florida, but maybe you're elsewhere. The Santiago, I know you got a promo code for us, brother. Come on, you got.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is correct. Go to shop.rblrsports.com, get 10% off for your order, and get some threads. If you're living, like where Zach lives, he's up in the mountains up there. You know what I'm saying? He says it's a little bit chilly, and please, the promo code is Cannons, CANNONS, 10% off of your order, complete order, of course. Yeah, man, if you're living up in the mountains, like where Zach is, he says it's a little bit chilly up there, man, he's going to want that sweater, RBLR, right? And then we're here in Florida, where it can get a little bit cold and it can get chilly. Don't get me wrong. It can get down that way, but let's go, baby. Let's go. Get that order in. Come on. Shop.rblrsports.com.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Santiago. Thank you for blessing people. And that kind of wrapped Falcons game. It was a win. It was a great win. Well, maybe not great win, but it was a win. Every win's great because they all count the same.
It was a needed win.
For sure. Yeah,
much needed win.
Shout out to the rest for the roughing the passer. Passer call at the end. Tom Brady gets those every now and then. More like every now and then. A little more common than every now and then. But anyway, we're moving. The Bucs are getting to take on the Steelers this week, and man, the Steelers look rough. They're 1-3. They're bottom 10 in every defensive category. This is not the usual Mike Tomlin Steelers that we are used to. TJ Watt is not active. Minka Fitzpatrick is questionable. They just have a litany of injuries on both sides of the ball, but especially defensively. And offensively, they got a rookie quarterback, Kenny Pickett. Najee Harris has been a huge disappointment. Trust me, I have him on my fantasy team. It has been luckily I'm still 4-1, but anyways, they're struggling. So the Bucs, I don't want to say they're going to have another cakewalk, but they kind of should. It's a 1-4 team, and this is a terrible football team, which is disappointing to say about a Mike Tomlin-led team. But regardless, what are some key matchups going into this game? They're coming off the embarrassing loss to the Bills. They were just trounced. It was ridiculous. So are there any key matchups that y'all are looking for? Zach, we'll start with you, brother. What are you looking for on this game specifically?
Yeah, I think you kind of touched on it with Minka Fitzpatrick being out and TJ Watt being out. I think it's just going to be what wide receiver can we get open against that secondary that's not very impressive. So if I had to pick one matchup, I'm going to say their defensive backs against our wide receivers and Leonard Fournette because he's a pass-catching back now.
Right.
But I think that's going to be the key matchup. If we can exploit their defensive backs, then we should be able to score more than them, which is, I mean, as long as our defense holds up, which I think they will, we should be good to go.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Leonard Fournette's turning into a 6 feet tall, 240-pound Darren Sproles at this point. Kind of funny. But how about you, Santiago? What's a key matchup that you're looking for against the Seahawks?
Key matchup, man, it's going to be, to be honest with you, man, let's see how, like, obviously Tom Brady, he's going to go back to a familiar foe up in Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? And we're going to be playing up in their stadium up in Heinz Field. And I haven't seen, when I saw that Kenny Pickett got drafted, by Pittsburgh, and as their main pick up there, during the draft, I was like, wow, everybody tries to compare like the next up and coming quarterback to the GOAT. That's what they try to do, right? And it's going to, the Steelers are a team, even if they're being, not playing so well, they're a team that, they've won Super Bowls before. You know what I mean? So the stadium's gonna be rocking, the stadium's gonna be packed, and can they try to cause havoc against us? Yes. I mean, they're a big name, in the NFL, with a prestigious lineage of winning Super Bowls and stuff. So honestly, man, like I want to see our offense go up against their defense because I want to see if we can score more points than we've done, even if it's an away game. You know what I'm saying? Like I really do. If they're 1-4, it's for a reason. So I really want us to put up points in this game.
For sure. So you think that the offensive side of the ball is where the Bucs are going to have to.
Yeah, we're going to have to definitely score points, man. Pound the football with Lenny and then score in the air. And then, and if it comes to like scoring, Ryan Suckup, he's been clutch for us. So, we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, TJ Watt is not playing for them. So it's like, he's a big time player for them. So they're going to have to, see about dealing with us.
For sure. So, we're kind of talking about this game and kind of dismissing the Steelers, and I hate to do that because they're so well coached. So, I mean, I have to bring this up. Do y'all think that this has the potential to be a letdown game for the Bucs? They seem to have one every year. A few years ago, they played. It was the Nick Foles-led Bears and on the road. Last year, they played the Washington football team, now the Commanders, and they lost, which, mind-blowing. So do you think this has the potential to be one of those kind of just like, how the heck do you lose this game kind of games? How about you, Zach? What are your thoughts?
I mean, as strange as it sounds, I feel like with the way that our offense is playing, which some people are more proud of it than most. I'm not all that hyped up about our offense. We haven't scored a first quarter touchdown all season. We've only scored 3 first half touchdowns all season. So for me, I don't think that there's any game that's going to be a gimme game this year. So looking at it from the outside looking in, 1-4 record against a 3-2 record, this is a game for me that I think could be that gimme game that we lose. But realistically, in my head, I'm not seeing any game on this schedule that's a gimme with everything that we've got going on.
Okay. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a good point. They're kind of playing with a chip on their shoulders due to their collective injury woes. Everyone seems to be getting hurt. So that's a good point. Yeah. Especially coming off kind of a lot of people are talking about that roughing the pass ball. And
God. It was so bad.
Yeah, they're that close to maybe losing that game to Atlanta. So it's, hopefully they come in very focused and very angry that they let it be that close. But Santiago, how about you? How do you feel about this game? You think it has the potential to be a letdown game, or you think they're going to stay focused?
We've been struggling to score points, gentlemen, and it's just, we could have had, honestly, possibly, let's say this pass game with Atlanta, man. Like, if it wasn't because of that call on Brady, you know what I mean? Atlanta would have had the ball, and, possibly they could have won. It just been, we haven't really been clutch and like blowing and getting away from it and feeling comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So can it be? Yes, it could be, to be honest with you, because we're playing up there in Pittsburgh. So, but if they were playing down here, I would feel more, possibly more, I would say more comfortable with a blowout, you know what I mean? But going into their stadium, it's going to be rocking and stuff, but right. I still believe that we're going to win.
For sure.
I still believe
that the Bucs playing on the road might have a little bit of an effect on the game, for sure.
Yeah, and the weather's changing, you know what I mean? It's getting cooler up there now. So it's like, they're going to be on the field, even though Brady has always lived up there in New England for like 20-something years. So he's obviously used to it. But when you're here in the warm weather of Florida, man, definitely that little, breeze is like, it's chilly, you know what I mean? So we definitely have to check it up.
Yeah, they got guys like Devin White who have lived in the South. They're pretty much their whole life. So,
yeah,
they don't
exactly, man. Man, some of them snow and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, but it's not snowing, of course, but it's just like that cold weather, man. It's like, it's so beautiful, the weather down here in Florida right now, man. It's like perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect.
We are undefeated on the road, though.
That's a very good point.
You're right. I agree.
So yeah, I mean, speaking of, the results of games, I'm going to ask for some predictions from y'all. Zach, we'll start from you. What's your prediction for this weekend's game?
I'm going to give us a 21-17 win.
Wow, that's a little bit close. Okay, 21-17. I like it. Santiago, how about you? What's a prediction?
I always go with this score, man, and it never happens, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to go 27-20 the Bucs, baby. That's where we're going to go. Please, let's go. Let's go. Come on.
And I'll give Steelers some credit here. All right. No, I'm going to have to go 30-7. I don't think the Steelers stand much of a chance. Kenny Pickett, God bless his heart, he's going to have a tough time. That Steelers offensive line is, it's just the whole team, really. They just are void of talent. So it's tough. It's going to be a tough battle. If they get throttled by the Bills like that, and the Bills are arguably the best team in the NFL right now, but still. Yeah, so 37 is my pick. All right, guys. So now that we've talked about the kind of the Falcons game, the Steelers game, and we're kind of past what usually would be the quarter of the season, but now they've expanded to 17 games. So what's this team's identity? I mean, it's kind of tough. The defense has had some great games. They had the awful game against the Chiefs. The offense still sputters, and like Zach's mentioned, they struggled mightily in that first half and especially first quarter. So what are we looking for going forward? I mean, we thought at the beginning of the season the Super Bowl lock, but now, I mean, what are we thinking? Zach, what is this team's identity? What do we look for going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I could say legitimately that we have an identity yet. And that, I know that's kind of a scapegoat answer, but normally this is Brady's team. Brady's throwing for 3 touchdowns a game. He's doing everything he can. But at this point, like I said, we've got a total of, I believe, 3 first-half touchdowns. That's not a Brady-led team. Brady is known for putting his team up quick and early. So I think at this point we need to find that identity still, and I think that it's going to rely on that offense and being able to throw the ball just as well as we are better than we're running the ball, which right now, I mean, we are doing that because we are 31st in yards per carry on offense. But it's like, it's not hard to be better than 31st. You know what I mean? So it's like we need to up both of those levels. Our offense needs to be better as a whole. I think that right now, if I had to pick an identity, it would be that we're a good pass defensive team.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I would put our identity at now. But I think all in all, we need to get back to being that offensive mindset first kind of team, which I know is going to be hard with Todd Bowles as the coach because he is a defensive guy.
Right.
But I didn't expect to see it kind of so soon, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's tough. They've really teetered off, and the production hasn't been there. And luckily, the defense, like you mentioned, the defense has been kind of bailing them out. Santiago, how about you? What are you feeling about this identity of the team? You think there is one? How are you feeling?
Well, I mean, we have Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. He's the face of the team, right? But I agree with what Zach just said, man. Like, if you ask all of us Bucs fans at the beginning of the season, during preseason draft and everything like that, we're going directly to the Super Bowl, and I still feel we can do that, right? But we were gonna, yes, we have the fourth hardest schedule in the NFL, but still, I thought I'm still thinking that we have to put more points, man. Like everybody, and that we're struggling like that, like Zach just said, like three first quarter first half, touchdowns in the first quarter, that's not productive, man. And our defense throughout the history of our franchise has always been known from now back in the day and everything, but I agree, we're more of a defensive team, and but we definitely have to go in full gear, man, to start scoring touchdowns, man, against these weaker teams that we have coming up in Pittsburgh. With the score prediction that you just did, Carter, with 30, put it like 30 to like 7 and stuff, 31-7. I want to see that. I really do.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, now that we've kind of addressed the identity or lack thereof, I mean, it's definitely more defensive team, but yeah, the offense has been a huge disappointment. And I mean, is there anything specifically? I mean, obviously, we're going to focus on the offense since it's been struggling so much. But is there anything specifically, like what's been the biggest so far this season? Zach, we'll head to you first. What's been that biggest letdown?
Yeah. I mean, I touched on it in my last answer, but I think the fact that we're averaging literally the 31st worst yards per carry is making it very hard to set up the play action pass, which Brady is known for, play action pass to his tight end. He doesn't have Gronk. So we've got Cade Otton and Cam Brate at this point. I haven't even heard anything about Kyle Rudolph. So it's like we need to be able to step that up. And I know that a big part of that is our offensive line being hurt. But if we can get maybe to the, let's say, top 15 in yards per carry, I think that's going to make our passing game much stronger, which will improve everything in reality. So I think the biggest disappointment right now is just our run game.
For sure. No, I'm with you. It's definitely discouraging to see them only run the ball 6 times against the Chiefs, which was only one off of the record for the fewest amount of carries in a single game, which was set by the Bucs 2 years ago against the Saints. Little trivia there for you.
I like it.
But yeah, I'm with you. The running game has been atrocious. And yeah, I mean, you can pin it on Ryan Jensen being out, the struggles of Robert Hainsey. Donovan Smith has been in and out of the lineup. Luke Gadecki, it's his first year as an NFL player, and he's had to kind of step up. So it's definitely tough. Santiago, what about you? What's the biggest letdown here so far?
Biggest letdown? Yeah, man. It's running the football. Not creating enough, not winning. We played the Chiefs last time. When we played them in the Super Bowl, man, we dismantled them. We were making Pat Mahomes run all over the field. Like scared for his life. And it was like, and then now with this recent game, like he was like dancing all over us, man. Like for real, like it was just unbelievable. Wow. And it was so hard to man, they're just putting up points, and 41 points, man. Wow. That's just, oh man. So it's like, that we scored 31 points more than even though it was a loss, like I said before previously, but we cannot allow that to happen. We have to score. We just have to score, and then keep doing. We have to improve in all areas. At least our our special teams. Ryan Suckup, who is my Mr. RBLR. You know what I mean? Like, he is the one that his foot has been golden, man. He's missed one field goal, but still, that's
sure.
my Mr. RBLR.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel you. Has that been kind of the movement since we talked about the biggest disappointment? I feel like, it can't be all negative. We can go to the flip side. Has that been the biggest surprise moving forward for the Bucs?
Yeah, man. Because we've spoken recently in recent years, and even last year, since Suckup has come in, man. We've struggled as Bucs fans with seeing good kickers. You know what I'm saying? And he's come in here, and he's literally after Martin Gramatica, he's the best field goal kicker in the history of this franchise. You know what I'm saying?
So you're telling me that Roberto Aguayo wasn't a great draft pick?
For sure. Or what about
FSU player Roberto Aguayo, man? That's everybody knows him for.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But how about you, Zach? What's been the kind of most pleasant surprise so far this year?
I mean, we touched on it earlier as well, and I feel like I'm bringing up a lot of points that we've touched on. But, I mean, the fact that we are kind of a very good top 5 pass defense, which is insane to think about when you look at last year, the year before. We've always been a run defensive team. So to see us be just very, very good at defending the pass and being +3 in the turnover differential on the season so far is kind of, I think, the biggest surprise to me.
Yeah.
Our biggest happy part, however you want to say it.
Right. Right. No, I'm with you. Definitely the pass defense has been sensational. I mean, it's been wonderful seeing Antoine Winfield be able to shift to the slot. And, Logan Ryan has been a huge part of that because they can run the 2 safety look of Mike Edwards and Logan Ryan, or Keanu O'Neal and Logan Ryan, et cetera, et cetera. Because, look, Sean Murphy-Bunting seems like a really nice guy. He had that huge pick in the NFC Championship game, but things were just not working out with him at the slot. So, Antoine Winfield being able to step into that role, I think, has been a big part of that surprising, improvement in that area. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Ryan Suckup, like you mentioned, Santiago has been the man. So yeah, he's been great. But overall, I mean, any final thoughts this week? We're kind of coming towards the end of the show. How are y'all feeling about this week? Any final summary? Zach, we'll go to you first.
Well, before we do that, I wanted to get your biggest surprise this season.
Hey, fair enough, man. Fair enough. I'm asking the questions. I should be prepared to answer. Yeah, I think definitely the pass defense got to be that. Because, man, I remember 2 years ago against the Chiefs, Carlton Davis getting lit up by Tyreek Hill in the first half. So I mean, I've been really harsh on the past few years.
Wasn't that the piece up the
right? Yeah.
That was okay, yeah.
Yep. That was the origin of that. And when you're doing those kind of things, you have. So it's been nice to see them kind of take advantage of. In the past, they would let Mitchell Trubisky light them up 5 points. So it's nice to see them kind of be I don't want to say they're not Legion of Boom or anything, but at least competent. So it's been really nice to see that. That's been my biggest surprise. But yeah, I appreciate you looking out for me and seeking my input there, Zach. But
anytime, brother, anytime.
Right, for sure. But how about all right? So back to the final thoughts. How are we feeling, Zach? Any final thoughts for the show?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think we're going to win this game, and I'm hoping that my score prediction is off and we blow them out of the water. I'm just worried, I guess I would say, that we could end up having another Atlanta game on our hands. So with all that being said, just fingers crossed we have the highest scoring game of the season and we just blow out Pittsburgh. But my final thought, again, is going to go with Musab. Just, good vibes. Send good vibes his way, man.
Yeah, good vibes to Musab, man. Definitely.
Yeah, Santiago, how about you? Any final thoughts for the episode?
Yeah, man. Like, what are your guys' Mr. RBLRs?
Hey, that's a fair point. Zach, we'll let you go first, brother. You can give your Mr. RBLR for this week.
Mine is the one and only Mr. Antoine Winfield Jr. I guess he's not the only because he is technically a junior, but I am going to go with him. 7 tackles total, a sack. Anytime you get a sack from a safety, you don't see that as often as we would like to. So his ability, like you said, to play slot, to get into the backfield, he had a quarterback hit and a sack. So I think that he's my Mr. RBLR.
All right. Hey, well, mine's got to be Leonard Fournette. He had the 2 touchdowns. He had a really impressive game. Yeah, I mean, he scored the only 2 touchdowns that the Bucs scored. So it was, it was nice. Yeah, I mean, they loaded up in that goal line formation. I thought for sure they were going to just hand it off, usually first down, run it up the middle. But no, they ran a little play action, and it worked. So, yeah, that's got to be my Mr. RBLR. So, yeah.
I think we know Santiago's, but who's yours?
Yeah, man. I said Mr. Ryan Suckup, man. Like, he's clutch, bro. Like, clutch, man, for reals.
He really
cannot
is.
Wait.
Yeah, I told people back in 2020 that Ryan Suckup was the MVP of that Super Bowl team because, if you can't have a good kicker, then you're not going to win very many football games if they're costing you games. Right? I mean, some people Ryan Suck clutch. I don't know if
Hey, I will say, though, he has been the MVP of my fantasy team. I got to give him credit.
Yeah,
he's the only Buck I have on the fantasy team this year, and he's
that's awesome.
Man, I mean, you're Baker Mayfield apologist, so I guess.
Oh God, we had to bring this up. We had to bring it up.
I mean, shoot, Panthers just fired Matt Rule. They're just on a downward slope.
It's real bad. And to the fans listening, I know that if you watch the Rays podcast that I'm normally on, I am very, very adamantly bad at predicting things, and this just happened to be one of those times where I was super pumped up. I thought Mayfield going to the Panthers was the greatest thing that ever happened, and I was way wrong.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it happens, but you know how you can't go wrong is by hitting like and subscribe.
There we go. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Feeling the vibe, then go ahead and do us a favor, hit like and subscribe. It's free, doesn't cost you a thing. Yeah, thanks to the listeners. Thank you all so much for listening. Thanks to Zach and Santiago for hopping on this podcast. Zach, thank you for stepping in, sending good vibes to Musab, sending good vibes that way for sure. But thank you all again for listening. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. We'll see y'all next week, hopefully after a dub. And, as always, go Bucs.
Go Bucs, baby.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.